and Destroy podcast with Austin Slowbird Swink and Terminator Xzavier Cox.
How was your week? How was your week/weekend?
It's pretty solid. Can't complain.
So you competed over the weekend in like an Agogi grappling tournament.
Yeah. It was...
Tell me how that came about, and that the lightest weight class they had was 180?
No, I think the lightest like 135 or 145 or something like that. And basically no one else just signed up in a lower weight class in my belt division or whatever. So because of that, basically the promoter of the Gogi or whatever hit me up. He was like, "Hey, would you like to go 160 or 180?" It was one of the two.
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, weight's just a number."
Nice. And how many? Was there a lot of people there?
It was like 60 to 100 people. It was a nice,
Nothing crazy.
small sized event.
And where was it at? In Murfreesboro?
Yeah, it was in Murfreesboro. I don't know where
Where in Murfreesboro?
Yeah, geographically where.
And so tell me how your matches went.
So yeah, basically, I competed at the 180 weight class, and it was pretty fun. My first match came out double guard pull. That was pretty funny. Got in some entanglements. He got like a sweep on me or something like that, and then I got a sweep. We went into overtime. I shot a double leg while he pulled guard.
So you won?
Yeah, I won in overtime. It was the first point to win in overtime. So
Okay.
after I shot that double leg and he pulled, I looked up at the ref. He was like,
You're going to have to give it to him.
yeah, he was like, well, he looked so confused. He was like, that's a one
Yeah.
way out. But yeah, after that happened, I was hit my double leg, won that match, and then I went against a guy from our teammate gym, TBJJ, Tennessee Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy. It's in Spring Hill. So basically, that match, I have to go back and watch. I don't even remember that one like that. He was up early. I don't know if it was like a guard pass or a sweep or something like that. But he got up on a scorecard, and I was down. I was like, okay, I'm still in this. Later on in the match, I took his back. So then I was up 6-5. He escapes, gets back to his guard. And once he got back to his guard, we were by the edge of the match. The match, like, they were a wrestling match, but, like, they were, like, the super small wrestling match. So I was like, all right, let's go reset. And we didn't reset, and I got triangled. So
So you were thinking y'all were about to reset?
yeah.
But y'all were out of bounds?
Yeah, it was my fault for not continuing to go.
I feel that.
So
Feel that.
that one bit me in my butt. But overall, we took third as a team. It was 3 kids from Phoenix and I. We had Eleanor, Rylan, and Michael compete. They did super well. Still some stuff to work on, but overall we took third as a team, so I was happy about that.
Heck yeah. And do they have any like other ones coming up? Did they announce any other dates or?
For the Agogi, I think the next one's going to be, they said something about July. So sometime in July, that's what I was talking to Steve. He was like, he wants to do one like every season. So like have 4 a year or something like that. And I think that'd be pretty sick.
That would be sick. They're trying to do like all the combat sports, like MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and now Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, it'd be.
It's pretty sick to see.
What about you?
I guess we can talk about that. Man, I'm still sick about it. It's just having to get used to people willing to just sit on their butt immediately and just play the game from there. I don't know. I don't want to be like a hater to jiu-jitsu, but that just makes me so annoyed that I have to, like, that there's no penalty for immediately sitting to your butt with no grips. And I'm just kind of having to, like, sit there.
Yeah, that's why you gotta do an ADCC.
Yeah, I know, but I just feel like if I go ADCC, I'm like too small for the weight class, and then IBJJF, I just hate the rule set.
What's the smallest weight class ADCC?
I think 66.
66
kilograms. Which I don't know what that is.
I feel like that's more than me, because I compete at 60.
I think for like what I'm talking about, it's like the big tournaments, like the trials and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've been competing at the opens.
Yeah.
But like wish Chalet was in here. Look it up, but
yeah, I don't know where famous producer is, but yeah, basically had 4 people in my bracket and went out there. Got guard pulled on, and score ended 0-0, but I was down 2-1 on advantages. So
how did he get the? Was he just like?
He went for a Kimura and he went for a guillotine, and that's how I lost.
Were they close at all?
I mean,
close enough.
I mean, I didn't really think about tapping on any of them, but I guess, according to the ref, they look like good submissions.
You always got to fall back to that straight ankle lock in the guard.
Dude, that's exactly... He did that. He pulled guard and then sat to the ankle lock and then was, like, inverted when I was trying to get, like, a double leg pass from there. Mm-hmm. And just ended up, like, he got that Kimura and then just kind of, like, sat on it and wasn't really, like, doing anything to advance position, but he just kept trying to get the sub, and so the ref gave him the advantage for that. And then I almost passed his guard, and then we ended up in closed guard, so I got an advantage for that. And then he just, like, all he did was reach his arm around my neck to make it look like he was doing a guillotine, and that he got an advantage for it. So all I can do is get better. I can't hate. As much as I would love to hate the player in this situation, you just gotta hate the game. That people are gonna immediately sit to bottom position and just throw up subs and try and not let their guard get past. But moving on to UFC, I guess we can go through our burner and destroyers of the week. Who do you got first?
So I'm still like kind of stuck between mine. I think I'm gonna give mine to Pat.
Sabatini?
Yes, sir.
Where did he wrestle at? We were talking about it.
I don't remember. Pat's. I don't know. That fight was really good. It's between him and Lee Chang-ho.
The Korean cat.
Yeah, the Korean cat.
Korean Habib.
I really liked that matchup as well. It was super interesting, entertaining. Is it the Korean Khabib? They called him.
Yeah, that's what he wants to be known as.
Yeah, I don't really like how they phrase that, and like being like somebody else isn't like my biggest thing. Like, yeah, I'm trying to be the Korean Khabib. I mean, I understand wanting to be as well known as Khabib, but like.
He's a grown man trying to role play another person.
Exactly. That's not something I get really down with or whatever. But both those fights are super entertaining. I'll give it to Pat. I wrote down Lee, but just like thinking about it, like it was back and forth the whole time with it. I was like, they're both super good fights. I'd watch both of them again multiple times.
I feel that. Well, the guy that I picked for this week. It was Reese McKee off the prelims. He was like the second to last prelims. And this guy, he's had 2 stints in the UFC now. He was in the UFC and he lost his first 2 or 3 fights. And one of them was to Hamzat. This guy, Reese McKee, his first fight in the UFC was Hamzat. And then he lost to Hamzat, then he lost to 2 other people. And then he went to Cage Warriors and got 3 knockouts, 2 of them being title fights. Then came back to the UFC, lost 2 more, and then just got this dub. But he looked really nice being able to like dodge shots on the feet and kind of looking like how Conor would. And he's from Ireland too.
Yeah,
he kind of has like that same style.
That was pretty.
But first fight on the main card was Torres Finney and Robert Valentine. I'll let you talk about it first.
Alright, so this one I put Finney sucks. That's exactly what it says.
Does he suck or does the other guy's wrestling suck?
So I don't like the idea of relying on one thing purely, and I understand being a one trick pony is what they called him a lot, but at the same time, if that's legitimately the only thing you're relying on, I just think it's pretty much just stupid. It's you'll win a couple fights, but you get matched up with somebody who just is good enough to defend what you have. You're not going far. I don't know.
Yeah, he landed 8 takedowns and 4 significant strikes with that. So he had double the takedowns as he did strikes from distance.
I feel like if his opponent knew how to throw an underhook instead of he kept reaching over the back or whatever, whatever he was doing, if he just dug underhooks and dug all the way up, I feel like it would have been a much better fight.
I think he kept throwing kind of recklessly too. Anytime the Switzerland, or I think that's where he's from, anytime he would get his strikes going, he would almost get lazy about the potential of a takedown coming. Mm-hmm. And so he would be in the middle of throwing his strike, and that's when Torres gets in on the hips and be able to take him down.
That fight was interesting for sure. The fact that he relied on his wrestling the whole time. He only threw a couple of strikes. He definitely didn't want to strike with him. If they strike for strike, Torres Finney would have lost. He knew that. And, he played a smart game, just wrestled him. He did what he had to do to win, so I'm not mad at it. But
no. I feel like that's why Dana took so long to give him the contract, is because he was afraid of getting performances like that all the time.
Yeah.
I think Dana made him fight 3 times on the Contender Series. He won each fight.
Yeah, he was doing good too on the Contender Series. They weren't bad fights.
But we both had Torres Finney in that one. Look at us, bias coming through. And then there was a switch up on the main card. There was supposed to be Martin Buday versus Kennedy Nzechukwu, and they swapped that all around. I don't know exactly what happened with Kennedy, but the person that replaced his spot was O'Day Osborne, and O'Day completely just mopped this dude with a step back right hand.
Yeah,
we didn't do much studying about the fight. I've seen O'Day fight before. He fought Manel Kopp. You know
I know. Yeah,
he got flying kneed by him. It was crazy. But onto a fight we did talk about, was Brad Tavares and Gerald Meerschaert, however you want to say it. And this was the only fight that we were head to head on because of the Kennedy fight falling out.
And so, all right, you want to go first?
Yeah, it just seemed like Brad did exactly what he needed to do against a grapple-heavy fighter like Gerald. Kept him on the feet, kept him at range, and was just picking him apart.
Well, Gerald Meerschaert let me down, hands down. That freaking was terrible. I still should give my props to him, but at the same time, he could have executed everything he did a lot better. Honestly, I don't want to discredit Brad Tavares. He went in there, executed his game plan perfectly. So that was a great fight by Brad. Stayed on the feet, kept it where he was comfortable, and secured the win just by being smart. So
yeah, I feel like I was saying last week, Gerald will lose fights he's supposed to lose, and then he'll win fights he's supposed to win. And I feel like this was just one that he was supposed to lose.
That makes sense. This one was my risky pick. I was I'm not too confident because I'm kind of a Brad Tavares fan. I've been watching him for a while, so it's I want to see him do good. But I was let's just throw this one out the window. He
fought Izzy in Izzy's first or second fight in the UFC.
Yeah, that's his second fight.
Something like that.
Because his first was that's blanking me.
It wasn't Brunson, was it?
No.
Some dude.
It's killing me. It's gonna, as soon as this is over, it's gonna pop up in my head and I'm freaking die.
So, onto the Korean cat that we were hinting to earlier. This guy did everything.
The Korean Khabib.
Yeah, he did everything he needed to do to get a dub. It was really, he rocked him on the feet and then he rocked him some more on the ground.
Yeah, that was a nice fight. That was super entertaining.
Felt like Cortavius didn't really have any answer for the pressure that was coming out of him.
No, it was just, I feel like he did a good job keeping up. If that's what he was trying to do, he did a good job keeping up for the most part. But after that, the pressure just after a while gets overwhelming, and to a certain extent, it's you just can't keep up. It's like swimming in waters that's too thick, and he just wasn't able to swim.
Yeah, he did really good. That fight's was at 135, I think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Who would you like to see him fight in the top 15 or?
Lee.
Yeah.
The Korean cat.
The Korean Habib. You got people like Mario Bautista, Jose Aldo, Kyler Phillips, Umar.
I don't know.
Do we think he needs a couple more before he gets?
I definitely think he needs a couple more. I wasn't too impressed with this one. It was a great fight, but I just wasn't that impressed.
Because of the opponent?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I feel like he could have done a lot better, especially for him wanting to role play another man. It could have been a lot more controlled, a lot more one-sided. Yeah, he got the finish, but it could have been a lot better in my eyes.
I feel that. And then Joanderson Brito versus Pat Sabatini.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like Pat just anytime he wanted to take him down, he took him down, and
it was a good fight too.
Yeah,
that fight was consistently.
He was setting it up good too. He was being patient about his entries because once he did enter, he was he would get the takedown every single time,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt like it was so obvious, striker versus grappler type of fight, and the striker just could not keep up with the grappler's takedowns and being able to get up.
Yeah.
He just kind of got smothered.
On the feet, though, it was super. I love watching that. That was fun.
Yeah.
And then
I like seeing how Pat got to his entries.
Yeah, he's a super smooth guy. So it was that was.
He lost to Diego Lopes. Pretty sure we watched that happen. That might have been in Louisville or Nashville.
Was that?
I can't remember. I wish we had someone to look that up.
Yeah.
But, so, that fight was good. Then the main event, it felt like... I'll let you start on it.
So, I know a lot of people booed the outcome of the fight, but it's just another one of those fights where Murphy did what he needed to do to, win. And
did it on the back foot.
Exactly. I thought it was a pretty interesting fight. I don't like how Josh kept I don't like the way he set up to get to his takedowns. I wasn't the biggest fan of the idea of what he was how he was doing it.
Felt like he was just trying to outmuscle him.
Yeah, it was
and it worked one time, and it looked really cool in that second. When he picked him up above the cage.
I was like, dude, yeah, that was freaking sweet. But outside of that, I'm like, dude, you're just be smarter with it. You're a better fighter than what you're doing.
He started really taunting him at the end too. And
because he was running away. I'm like, dude, you can't be mad.
Right.
He's beating you off the back foot, and you're not scoring where you need to score.
And you've had almost 25 minutes to do something.
A 5-round fight, and that was completely on him for not doing what he needed to do when he needed to do it.
What do you do with Josh? He's 4 years old. Do you make him, if he wants to fight, you let him keep fighting? Because it didn't look like he retired or anything.
I guess as long as his fights are selling tickets, you just keep him around till he starts. I'd say after 2. Did he win his last fight? Who was his last fight?
Pretty sure he lost. He beat Bryce. He knocked out Bryce Mitchell.
That's right. Bryce Mitchell fights next week.
We're gonna be talking about that.
So yeah, I mean, as long as he can sell a ticket, I'm sure Dana would like it. So.
And then Lerone Murphy, do you get it? He's undefeated, 16-0-1.
I'd say he's.
Does he get the title shot?
No.
No. Who's he got to beat? Max.
That weight class is.
Max ain't going back to 45.
Yeah, I was like, Max is like a. He should say it like.
Brian Ortega.
Brian Ortega would be a cool fight.
That would be the fight, I feel like.
Yeah,
that's who he should fight.
I just don't like the way. If you're barely. I don't want to say barely winning fights, but if you're not like. So I try to think of it like. There's a bunch of different ways I try to think of it. Like, you got to think of it from Dana's perspective. If he beats the champ, is he making the interesting fights? Like, you don't want somebody like Bilal freaking as champion. It's like you're not making money. And I just feel like, I don't want to say he's like Bilal, but at the same time, he's like settling for what. I mean, just pretty much settling.
Yeah, and just not really, like, creating a persona or anything and,
Exactly.
like, making news, calling out people. Because did he call out anybody after he won?
I know he got booed a lot, so I was like... I feel like he handled that pretty well. I was like... I mean, I didn't really like the boos because he did what he had to do to win. Like, in certain fights, you got to do what you got to do to win. Like, if it's... I don't know, if it's like one of those life or death fights, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do to win. But if like you're undefeated and you're like, I feel like he's more scared of losing than he is to win.
I feel that.
So I mean, give him 2 more good fights, and if he does good, you can throw it at him.
I think you do Brian Ortega.
Yeah, Brian Ortega would be a good fight.
Make them fight, but that doesn't mean that Lerone gets a title fight after that.
No.
Or Brian.
No, because that weight class is still pretty...
main card opener.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So, moving on to next week's card. First fight on the main card for UFC 315?
Yeah. No. What?
314.
Because 315 is the one I was showing you with the ChatGPT thing.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So, I think the first one is Nikola, whatever, Krylov versus Dominic Reyes.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick this one. I still haven't even picked one on my notes, so I'm going to just make the pick right here. I think Dominic Reyes is like on a new... He's in like his second era, his 2.0 era. Yeah, so I'm just going to try and ride that train and hope that it goes well.
So I literally did the same thing. So I know you started watching Solo Level in the anime. It's a great anime. And basically everyone starts off like the hunters start off in like dungeon or whatever, and they get what's called a second awakening. I just feel like this is like his second awakening almost.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like once he gets as far as he gets with like his second awakening, I feel like he's gonna go pretty far. I don't think he's gonna hold the belt or anything like that.
The knockout over Dustin Jacoby is what made me really think like he's probably not. He's not done.
Yeah. He's definitely got more time in the UFC. I feel like, but yeah, I feel like he has a couple more good fights. He'll hopefully make top 5 again, and then I met one of his coaches in San Diego.
You were telling me about that when you did ADCC.
Yeah, I did an ADCC and popped my knee, and I met his coach when I was crippled.
Nice. And what did y'all talk about?
Pretty much just all the fights. Like, we were sitting at a booth, and I don't remember the guy's name, but it was like one of the other guys was like fighting. He's like, dude, I grew up with this guy. I was like, that's cool. Tell me what I need to do to go pro.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but yeah, it was super cool. We just talked about fighting and stuff, and then like the different styles of grappling and all, how his people were doing, than how I did, all that. So he was a super cool guy. It'd be nice to train with him sometimes, but.
So do we say you have some bias going into this one?
That didn't pick it for me. I was just more like, he doesn't look like he's done yet. So
I agree.
I'm just putting my faith in him on as a fighter.
Nice. And now the second fight on the main card is Jair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. Almost had a stutter right there.
Yeah.
But Patricio, he's coming from Bellator. He was one of the biggest faces over there for Bellator before they shut down shop. But how do you think he does against Jair Rodriguez?
I think I haven't done too much research on him, so I'm going with Yair. I think it's gonna be a good fight overall. I like the matchup. I thought it was.
Yeah, I think the height difference is 5 or 6 inches. Yair is 5'11" and Patricio is 5'5" or something.
Yeah.
So I think that can play a big factor.
That's kind of somewhat wild. I like seeing those the big differences. Sometimes it gets a bit boring, but I guess boring and annoying. But sometimes I fought a guy who was 6'2" and I was 5'7" at the time. I was throwing right hands at the sky.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like Patricio is going to be stronger, but Yair is going to be faster and have more length. And I would think that speed matters more than strength. I would think.
Yeah, that's good. I would think, but yeah, that's overall that's.
So I'm gonna pick Yair as well. So that's 2 we've agreed on.
All right, the Josh Mitchell fight.
John Silva versus Bryce Mitchell.
Oh, I said yeah.
Josh Silva. Yeah, that's okay. But
yeah, Bryce Mitchell. What do you got?
Man, I want Silva to win just because Bryce be saying the most dumb stuff recently.
But is he wrong? No, I'm fine.
Let's not get into that. But he just be wilding with his takes but I think he's the better fighter in this situation, so I sadly am going to say Bryce Mitchell, even though I want him to get knocked out.
I said Silva. I'm
going to be so sad if he loses after me backing him.
It's going to be very interesting. Bryce Mitchell's not a bad fighter.
No, I just think he can get to his grappling in this fight compared to his last ones. I think he'll be able to actually get John to the ground.
That's fair.
But you think otherwise?
I don't know. Do you have a prediction for this fight? I feel like this one. I feel like so.
How it happens? Exactly how it happens? Probably Bryce by decision. He just wrestle spams him. That's what I think. Controls him on the ground.
I feel like I don't know, because after his last fight, can you really come back the same? I know some people can, but I feel like he might be retarded enough to do that.
His fight has he not fought since he fought Josh? And got knocked out by Josh?
Who's Bryce Mitchell's last fight?
No, he had one in the Apex, and that was the one where he brought the Bible out and was like, freedom!
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I had a friend who did that.
Really? You had a friend that did that?
Came out with the Bible and everything.
Where?
Cookville.
Was it a fight?
Mm-hmm. It was an MMA fight.
Who was it? Or do you not want to say his name?
I won't disclose all that information, but I've seen a lot of people do it. I've seen.
And come out and yell freedom.
Yeah, they got their Bible or whatever, and just start yelling themselves. I respect it.
Yeah, respect.
I'm a Bible thumper myself, so.
So the next one's pretty big. This fight's been talked about for a while. Michael Chandler finally getting back to the octagon after getting screwed by McGregor for 2.5 years. Fighting Paddy the Baddy.
Yeah.
Who do you think?
Dude, I don't know. Okay, so I picked Paddy, right? So this is how I think it's going to go down. Michael Chandler's going to come out, make an entertaining fight. Patty's going to get dropped 4 times, right?
4 times.
He throws up a triangle. Yeah, 4 times. He throws up a triangle. Somehow, or Michael Chandler gets out in the end of the round. They're going into, I guess, the 3rd round by this point. Or whatever.
Okay.
And then, boom. He gets submitted, right?
Who gets submitted?
Michael Chandler gets submitted. Calls out Conor McGregor.
He calls out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he
I can see
goes
that.
to the fight, makes a great fight, ends up losing, then calls out Conor.
That makes sense. So who should Patty fight if he wins?
I guess it depends how he wins. I don't know, because I think Michael Chandler could actually win this. I don't know why I picked Patty. Just something in my gut was like, don't push him to the side. But
I think if Chandler wins, it's by knockout.
yeah, that's exactly what I think. But, I mean...
I don't think he
he's
can
a
win a
scouser.
decision or get a submission. Yeah, exactly. They don't get knocked out.
Yeah, they don't get knocked out. So
I would think he's fine.
I'm excited to see just how long he can last and how well.
So we got 3 out of the 5. 3 out of the 5 on the main card so far. We picked the same on. So hopefully this main event we're a little lopsided.
Who'd you pick?
Patty.
You picked Patty?
I didn't really say anything about that, but yeah, I picked Patty. I just think that Michael Chandler is on the way out. I don't think he did himself any favors staying inactive for 2.5 years waiting on Conor. So I think Patty is on the way up. Michael's on the way down.
How do you feel? Do you have like any bias towards Chandler training?
No, if anything, you would think I would.
That's what I was saying. I was
from
like,
Tennessee.
Austin's probably going to pick Chandler, so I was like, let me pick Patty. Like this one's kind of like my.
And I actually don't like Patty. Like
You don't like Patty?
Yeah, I don't like him. Like I like his fighting style
Yeah.
and stuff, but the stuff he did with Ariel,
Oh,
I just can't. I can't like appreciate that. He went out of his way to like tell people that Ariel wouldn't pay him to get on his show. And that's not what podcasts are about or anything. Or trying to promote yourself is about. You don't like charge people to go on their podcast.
Yeah,
It's kind of phony.
yeah.
I guess he's doing what he has to do to make a buck. But
I'm excited for that one.
yeah, I think Patty wins. Sadly,
If
Chandler knocked him out, I'd be hyped.
I don't think it's gonna be. Yeah,
I would be like, oh my god.
Do you have any prediction of how it's gonna end? I got submission.
Chandler has only been subbed by one person. That was Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, it was Dustin Poirier. No.
And they were going at a high pace in that fight, and I think Chandler just got tired and ended up quitting. But
I feel like Patty's gonna catch him.
I could see it, but I could also see like Patty trying to get subs and they don't work out, so he just tries to control them.
Yeah, this fight, I feel like Patty like almost dies or like.
Patty's really good off the back too. Like
Yeah.
if he gets your back, he pretty much will control you the rest of the time or submit you. So, main event time for the UFC 145-pound title. Who you got first? Or who you got in this
I have
one?
to go with Volk. I've been a Volk fan for a while now. I don't want to say forever. I wasn't always on the Volk train. I guess I've always been a fan, but I just like wasn't a crazy fan for over him. But yeah, I want Volk to win this one.
You know, if he wins, he'll be the first person over 35 to win a title fight at 155 pounds.
Yeah,
the old men usually don't do good at the lighter weight classes, but he'd be the first person if he wins this weekend. And I think he does. I think so as well. I think Diego he's good, but I almost don't think he's good enough to go against somebody the caliber of Volkanovski at the moment.
Yeah.
Or like a Max Holloway. I think both of those guys, and Topuria, all three of them would probably beat Diego right now. Doesn't mean Diego can't get better and eventually beat those dudes, but I just don't think right now is the time for him.
Yeah. How old is Diego?
He is 30.
He's 30.
Dang. So we're getting somebody in their athletic prime, and then Volk is like 37, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
36.
Man, yeah, that's a...
Yeah, I don't know, man. I would like to see Volk come back after losing 2 fights, both by knockout, and have a good ending to his story. But I think if he wins, he's gonna try and defend the title quicker.
Yeah, I feel
quickly, right after.
Yeah, you think? I don't know. Who do you think you'd? Who's the other featherweight fight that?
On this card?
No, it's There's I don't know. There's another
3 featherweight fights on the main card. You got Yair versus Patricio,
Yeah.
Bryce versus John, and then Volk versus Diego. Are you saying what other big fight is coming up?
No, there's I don't know who it is. I'm blanking. I don't know.
Cool. The Josh Emmett and Lee Roan were at 145.
Yeah, that wasn't that fight.
So we both think Volkanovski breaks that stat of somebody being over 35 and under 155 pounds to win a title fight.
I'm putting my money on that one. That's
Sick. So we only got one that we're going head-to-head on, and that's the Bryce Mitchell-John Silva fight. Which is honestly,
perfect.
yeah, it's a good fight to be head-to-head on. Other combat news. I don't know if you got anything. I got a couple things. First thing I got is Cain Velasquez got sentenced to 5 years in prison after going after his...
He's innocent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he should have... Well, I don't know. This is a controversial topic.
If you were in his position...
I probably would have crashed out too. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but it just sucks that the rules are what the rules are, the laws are what the laws are. And
some of them are meant to be broken.
Yeah, I don't know the exact story, but because I don't know how he ends up finding the dude that was doing that stuff to his kid.
Yeah.
But he apparently finds him while driving, and it is shooting at him out the window on an interstate and stuff. I think that's what happened.
Oh yeah, the freaking I haven't done a bunch of research. I've got the premise of everything or whatever. I don't know. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, for sure. You not only have to go through hearing that stuff is happening to your child, but now you have to sit away from your child for over 5 years to get that situation resolved. So it doesn't really help anything. But at the same time, you feel like you need to do something to try and get that get back.
Yeah, I don't.
But good thing he was in Holden, waiting on court for 3 years already. So I mean, he's only gonna have to do I say only as in that's not a long time, but he's gonna have to do a year and a half more, and then he'll be done.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see. I bet the UFC does everything they can to make his life as good as it can after he gets out.
Yeah.
Him and all of AKA. I know DC talks about speaking to him and his family all the time and going and seeing him, which I don't even know where he's being held at. I don't know what did that happen in California?
I have no idea. I saw what happened. I was like, what the freaking heck?
Yeah.
This is when I first found out about it. I was like, first time I saw it, I was like, is that real? And then second time I was like, whoa.
And as much as I would say I would crash out, I think the lesson to learn from the whole situation is if something bad happens, it doesn't mean that you go and do another bad thing to make where you have to sit in the situation even longer. You know what I mean? Because they could be 3.5 years past that situation now. Probably getting different babysitters for their children and not having to worry about all that stuff happening. But instead, his kids have to live without their father for 5 years.
Dude, how would you say you think he feels right now? Do you think he...
Right now?
Yeah.
I bet he wish he didn't do what he did. And I bet he wishes he was with his kids instead of in prison.
But do you think if he didn't do that, you think he would have wished otherwise?
I think I could be wrong, but I think what you're trying to ask is like, do I think he would do it again if the situation of prison?
No, I was just like, I don't know, just trying to pick your mind about the whole like, just thing in general. Like,
I mean, I bet in the moment when he was hunting that dude down, he was like, probably in his mind making it seem like the right thing to do.
Yeah. Okay.
But then after the fact, you probably realize like I just made the situation last way longer than it needed to be.
That's fair. Yeah.
But like I said, if I'm put in that situation, I might do the same thing. So I don't hate the guy for doing it, but I think the lesson to learn from that is
follow the rules.
Well, not only follow the rules, but like revenge doesn't necessarily make things better.
Yeah.
It sometimes can make things way worse or just drag it out longer than it needs to be.
Like you're sitting in your own pile of sweat at that point.
100%. For longer than you want to. Another fight news I got is Ian Gary versus Carlos Prates, which is a pretty nice fight.
Yeah.
Who do you think wins that one?
I think Carlos gets this one.
I think this is his first for real test.
Yeah, this is. I don't know. I kind of like Ian Gary, but I mean, I feel like it's going to be a good fight. But I think
Carlos, you like his wag? That whole situation's kind of funny.
That was. How do you think it's going to
go? I don't know right now, honestly.
Yeah, I'm kind of. That's like, if I had to pick right now, like.
You think Carlos gets it done?
Yeah.
By knocking him out? Ian Gary just had his first loss to Shavkat.
Yeah.
And that was over, is that 5 rounds or 3 rounds? I think it was just 3. No, it might have been 5. I don't know.
I didn't get to watch it. I was stuck at work watching that fight. I was trying to deliver a pizza. And
it was a good fight.
Yeah, I was stuck there. And then I don't know. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, so I was kind of mad about it. And I never really went back and rewatched it. I mean, I have to watch bits and parts of it and some of the highlights, but
I think it'll end up being good. It's not that far away.
No, that's the card after the next.
I'm guessing it's not that far away because Carlos was supposed to be on this weekend's card.
Yeah, and that fight got canceled.
So they moved it to the week, 2 weeks later after this week, April 26th.
That's this month stuff.
You got any other combat news?
Nothing really.
You're talking about Mr. Assault Charge AJ Ferrari earlier.
Oh yeah, AJ Ferrari committed to North Carolina.
And that's still D1?
Yeah.
I didn't really see anybody from there at the NCAAs.
The last person I really saw was Austin O'Connor versus Levi Haynes.
And Austin is from...
That was like 2 years ago.
Austin
O'Connor.
Yeah, Austin O'Connor is from North Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know where he really started. I know that everyone was making fun of him. He was like, they went up to Levi Haynes because he lost. He was like, how do you feel wrestling like a old man in the final, 30-year-old? He's 30.
Is that how old Levi is?
No, he's Levi's like 19, 20.
Austin,
he's like 20, 21 or something.
Is old.
Yeah.
And why did that happen? Did he get injured or something?
I'm not exactly sure. I was kind of curious, but I never went down that rabbit hole. I was a Levi. I'm a Penn State fan. I'm a fan of winners. So some people call it bandwagon. You're winning. I'm a fan. So
I feel like I'm the opposite. I hate Penn State. I hate all of them.
I don't like all the rest. No.
Bo Nickel. I hope he gets knocked out. Every fight, I'm like, I just want somebody to put this dude in his place.
Yeah, well, so Bo Nickel, I have there's like two different opinions I have about him. Like he's a really good wrestler, and I like watching him wrestle, or whatever. But like him as a fighter, I'm a bigger fan of him wrestling than I am of him fighting.
I can see that.
And yeah, he kind of, I'm like, what is this guy doing? He kind of reminds me of freaking like Torres Finney. He's like that one trick.
But he stood on the feet with Paul Craig for 3 rounds. And did all right.
Was that a good fight?
I wouldn't say.
Would you recommend that fight to anybody?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. That'd be like one of the last ones for sure.
Yeah.
If you had a fight that you could pick, that would like, if you're trying to show somebody that's not into MMA to get them into MMA, what would you show them?
Like, so am I creating a fight, or like am I just?
No. You're picking
so
from
it's like
a fight
your
that's
first
already
time
happened.
watching.
And you're like, well, go watch this fight.
Probably.
If it's a female, I would tell them to go watch Zhang Wei Li versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Yeah,
That fight.
Yeah,
that was one of the fights that got me into MMA.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome. I don't know. Let me see. I want to say Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria.
Really, Max getting knocked out? That's how you show somebody the sport?
Well, actually, no, because
You gotta do Max like that.
That was
Max versus Calvin Cater.
Oh yeah, that fight was awesome.
Just a straight up beatdown.
Or Daniel Cormier versus John Jones.
That's not a bad rivalry.
Yeah, I want to like get him something good, but you might be right. I don't want to. They got to build up their love for Max first before
Right.
they just
Yeah, exactly. He had so many great moments before that.
Ooh,
Just getting flatlined.
Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje.
1 or 2.
2.
Where Dustin gets knocked out.
I
feel like the first one was better.
It was.
I think so.
Yeah.
But all those are good fights. I don't really got anything else to talk about.
Are you competing anytime soon?
I got Atlanta May 4th and then Detroit June 21st, but that's it.
Okay, I might hop on one of those. I know I have a jiu-jitsu tournament this upcoming weekend.
Fuji.
Yes. I don't know where it is yet. No, I didn't know the Agogi rule set till I got there. And the only reason I decided to go over the rule set was because one of the kids asked me. It was like, is an Ezekiel choke legal? And I was like, I don't know. I'll go check for you. And then they did a rules meeting, which I thought was super cool. It was just for the kids. And they basically was like, yeah, no gi, it's not gi, it's legal. So I was like, okay.
Was there any rule that was like funky?
No, the rules are pretty sure. First point in overtime. So it's like overtime doesn't end. It's like the first point wins. I like that.
Okay.
Just because I got that double.
Yeah, it's like wrestling.
So yeah, and then I was looking at. I looked through gi first, and I was like, and then I went back like an hour later, and I was like, what's no gi like? And I was looking at blue belts, like heel hooks and everything. So I would have been in just going thinking like it's like a normal, like just like a regular tournament.
Were you thinking there was no heel hooks?
Yeah, I was just thinking like all that like stuff was out the window. I was like,
well,
I'm glad I looked because I got my first match. I got into somewhat of a leg exchange, and I almost got his back. He like turned out or something like that. It was a pretty fun.
What's up with all this guard pulling and ankle locks, dude? I hate it.
Well, my knees hurt, so I've been pulling guard.
That makes sense. You had to do that to adjust to an injury. I can see that.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's still good for you, like getting a good guard while you can. So you won't always be on top, I guess. I've pretty much always been on top, but
I was about to say,
right
I'm
now.
always on top. But so I'll be in Atlanta May 4th, Detroit June 21st. You're got Fuji this weekend.
And then June 20th,
you got a fight.
kickboxing fight.
Nice.
I gotta get more information on that. And then a possible fight June 6th as well.
Where at?
Agogi. That one's at the Harley Davidson thing. It's going to be free entrance. So.
Why are they doing that?
I'm not sure.
Sick.
He was like, I mean, publicity. So.
Nice.
He's trying to get everyone out there, trying to get as many people as he can. There's going to be bike shows. He was listed a bunch of stuff, and I can't think of it right now. But like, yeah, he said it's going to be super big, great to watch. It's going to be the fights, the bike shows, and then there's like 5 other things going on there. So it's going to be a lot of people. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Sick. Hopefully we can catch some gold medals next time we go out and do one of these things. I'm tired of losing. Loki got me sick.
Yeah, I went freaking 180 and I lost. I got caught in the submission. I was up. I felt terrible.
It'd be like that. Does this make a loud noise when you turn it off?
No.